Welcome back, everybody, to the Who Do You Like Here podcast. Joey Cena with me is the kid. Another week, another Derby prep race coming up at the Fairgrounds. We're going to be heading there this week to handicap the Elite Pick 5, including the Risen Star. Kid, great week last week.
Yeah, we did pretty well.
You did
at least on the horse races. We didn't do too great on the Super Bowl props, but
one thing at a time. What do you want to cover first?
We can cover the races.
Let's cover the races then. Last week's pick 5, you were really slim to begin with. You never put a lot of picks out there. You kind of limit yourself to 3. You had a late scratch, early morning scratch in the second leg. Didn't really deter you, but your second choice in the first leg, which I had off the board, was the one Multiverse. Great price, $14.40 on the win. Just a really good win over your 2 was your first choice, and the 10 that was your third choice. Almost as a stone cold try for the kid. Lock, stock, and barrel. And it paid fairly well. The try even paid 1-2-10 was a $418 try. So that's the way you start off. A pick 5 in your verticals when you're betting, especially at Gulfstream Park. Getting prices sometimes can be difficult. Next leg, your top choice, my top choice, kind of a lock. Wasn't my lock of the week, but we both were locked in on the one, Hurricane Nelson. Pretty much easy winner at $2.80. Third leg, a little bit of a stretch. My fourth pick, you had 3 in that leg. The 8, Epona's Hope. Tough race there, just beating Just a Care, which was the top pick. That was my lock of the week. Actually came in second. Just kind of a bad trip overall, in my opinion, for Luis Saez. But it was a good pick for $11.60 for that third leg. It was fantastic. And then we get to the fourth leg, and it's for some reason it seems like in these fourth legs where we were 1, 2, 3. I think we were 5 deep in that race. Still couldn't pick the winner here. Yarmio, the Ambassador of Speed, just taking it from gate to wire with Band on a Run. Obviously, the 8 and the 4 came in second. Those are your top choice and my top choice, second and third. Why not? If you're going to lose out, we always get the seconds and thirds in these 4 out of 5s. And then finish it up with your top pick, $40 horse On Top, which was just fantastic. Win with Faith. And that one there was for Miggy Vasquez. So all in all, that's a killer pick 5. You really had to spread in the race that I think we had. I think the fourth leg was really the race that we had the most kind of Vegas. Was the one you should have spread in. That in the first race, I thought we both agreed on the races you need to spread. But 4 out of 5 with the second and the third. Story of this podcast life, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. You just have to figure out which leg we're going to miss on at this point. You know, you don't. Right. You can look at the entire card and be like, yeah, these all look great, but you got to figure out. You got to know that we're going to go 4 or 5. So which leg do you have to hit the all button? And it's kind of where we're at this point.
Yeah. I mean, if you're betting the verticals along the way, you open and close with a try. Yeah. That last try was really nice, over $460. So maybe stick with the verticals if you're going to really go on any of these races on these horizontal plays. If we say spread race, you're really going to have to go deep and narrow out your earlier choices just to bring down the ticket. Because obviously I go 4 deep because I'm really looking to try to cover all the exotics, exactas, tries, supers, what have you. So, but great week last week. That was fantastic handicapping. Probably your best week, probably in recent, probably in this year, maybe in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I'd say so. Maybe. I think it was one of your best weeks. We need to really put in our thinking caps for this week as we shift gears and go to the Fairground. Fairground's totally different animal for both of us. Before we get into that, let's talk about that. Talk about that Super Bowl and the prop bets that were put out there. First and foremost, it always sucks when you feel a certain way about the big game on Sunday. And I felt it was going to be a Phillies blowout. I actually like Philly minus points in that game, which was an easy T spread. I think I had a -6. I also had money line on a few. The big kicker for me on all my parlays and all my, kind of tagging player props was Saquon not getting a touchdown, which I was extremely surprised he didn't get a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a little bit of all the different TV shows and personalities, and Gruden was. I mean, he's part of Barstool now, and Gruden was talking about how he thought the Chiefs were basically going to game plan. He's like, I'd be surprised if I saw Saquon have a good day, just because they're gonna game plan to make Hurts beat him with his arm, and so I stayed away from all my Saquon I guess, parlays, like I usually do. Because I think I only had him
Mhm.
for, I think, 12.5 receiving yards, which that hit easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stayed away from Saquon just for that reason alone. Because,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
I wish I would have
It's,
known that because I had the yardage and I had the touchdown for Saquon. The one thing the Chiefs did well was stopping Saquon on the run. That's the only thing they did well the whole game. Everything else, the game plan was off. They couldn't pass. Their offensive line was shit.
yeah.
Couldn't move the ball 20 some odd yards in the first half alone of offense. It's not going to win a championship. And Philly stepped up to the challenge. So it sucks when you like the underdog and you're giving points, although it was just a 1 point swing
Yeah.
for the Chiefs. But man, really, really wish I would have cashed a ticket. Now we can roll over to your ticket, which how many? What was that? 8, 7,
It was a
6,
7-legger. It was a 7-leg parlay.
7 leg parlay.
Yeah.
We kind of were squeezing that out here in the last 5 minutes to go. We needed Mahomes. We needed 20 more yards from
So,
Mahomes and
yeah, the
10
ticket
for
was
Kelsey.
Eagles money line. It was Jalen Hurts over 200 yards passing. That hit.
Yep.
We needed Mahomes over 250. That hit. We needed a
Worthy touchdown.
Devontae Smith touchdown, a worthy
Yep.
touchdown.
Got both of
Travis
those.
Kelsey over 50 yards,
49
49
and
and a half. And then Saquon over 12.5 receiving. And
Yeah,
Travis
and that
Kelsey
last,
killed him.
yeah, big disappointment. What a fucking bust, dude. And I watched. Now people are kind of like really on. I don't know if they're people that have lost parlays with him in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
but everyone's posting these plays where he's just standing there on offense. He's not blocking. He's not running his route. Just totally missing blocks on run plays that the running back or Mahomes got crushed. I don't know what happened to him, but he had a shit game. Probably the worst game I've seen from that guy, especially in a big time game like the Super Bowl. He just did not show up. So he basically cost you $1,000, over $1,000,
Over
by 10
$1,000,
yards,
yeah.
and three passes attempts to him in the first half, 0 catches.
Drop balls.
You just need to catch.
Or drop balls.
Just need to catch.
Yeah. Yep, that was the
Thanks,
game
Travis.
changer. Also on that last drive, I thought it was pretty much dead, and I thought they were going to take Mahomes out, and then they didn't. So all we
Yeah.
needed was one catch from Travis Kelsey.
We
Just
need a
garbage
10-yard catch
time.
from Kelsey, and then
Just
another.
garbage
I
time.
think it was like another 10 yards.
No, I think the yardage was already cooked. It was already done.
No, it was baked in still. Because once he threw that touchdown, that put him over the 220. I know he was under because I was tracking, but he just needed to dunk underneath a bunch of passes and they were going to give him the touchdown anyways. Instead, one pass to Worthy, his yardage goes over. Kelsey sits there with no more yards. Absolute dog shit. And then my square gets fucked because they go for 2. So just to add a little more salt in the wound, sitting on my number, they convert the 2. I'm totally off. Just had to stop Hopkins from catching that ball.
Yep.
That's another payday. Anyway, Super Bowl's over. Baseball season. That's the next thing. And NCAA basketball.
Yeah, I think NCAA, and then the NBA playoffs, and then I'll start watching baseball. But
yeah, I'm not in the NBA. I mean, I haven't been because the Knicks haven't been a great team. They haven't most recently in the last couple of years making the playoffs. They're having a great season this year.
The Bucks have been pretty good the last couple of years, though.
What's that?
So the Bucks have been pretty good the last couple of years.
Good for them. I'm a Knicks fan. You give me shit. I'm a Knicks fan. If you listen to all the other podcasts, Kid Osme gives me shit because I pull for the local team as well, the Bucks. But Knicks are my team. You wouldn't be a Knicks fan without me, so let's just move on from there.
Yeah, that's
Pick 5 time. Pick 5 time at the Fairgrounds. Now, I don't know if you've watched any Fairgrounds at all. We handicapped one early in the Louisiana Stakes Day.
Beginning of the year,
which we did pretty good.
Yeah.
We did pretty good. Track conditions are pretty much similar, a little bit differently. I think there's a little more advantage on some of your sprints with closers and your route with speed, except for on turf. So kind of the opposite I got to look for in these races. We're going to cap from 10 to 14. 14-day card. Big day of racing overall. Should be a great card from start to finish. A lot of great horses going to be on the meet. So we're going to jump in here in the 10th race, and we're going to handicap this first leg of the pick 5. Not so great speed in this first race for the 10th race. There's only 2 horses that have speed that should be at the front. And this is a route, so they should be close. Well, let's see what happens here. Mile and the 16th on the turf. $100,000 Albert M. Stahl Memorial. It's a purse of $100,000 for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and upwards. I'm looking at the 2 and the 6 to be the speeds, but I got them in my exotics, but I'm not going to take either of them on top, even though I'm going contrary to what I just said. That speed on routes is probably your best bet. I'm going to stick with someone that's probably going to be sitting off a little off, probably 4 or 5 back. That's the 8 Tufani. Ben Curtis for Michael Stidham. I actually like this 8 a lot. I've been running in a lot of non-graded stakes races, and the times are really good when they're running a mile and a 16th. Last time at a mile and an 8th, made up some ground late, was a longer shot. That was in a 150,000 non-graded stakes race at Belmont at Aqueduct. But listen, the horses ran at the Fairgrounds. I wouldn't say he's run well at the Fairgrounds. Got 4 times out, 2 wins the last 2 times, which were in this year, early last year. Both of those out of the money, but starting to get back in form. I really like how Ben Curtis has been running lately too for a jockey. He's got 30 wins right now on 172 opportunities, so hitting at 17% on top. Just a lot of things I like about this, but especially the time this horse ran 3 back at Colonial Downs. I just like the 143 and 1 for a time, and a horse that can actually make up some great ground late, which is what I always look for when we're talking Fairgrounds, is that late pace figure for that nice long stretch. So give me the 8 on top. I am going to go ahead and I have to throw the 6 underneath. I do think that the speed will be there late and still be able to be a part of the exotics here. Join the dance makes a lot of sense. Fractions 24 and 2, 49 and 3, and 144 and 3 last time out. Just missing to a horse in this race coming in second. I like the 10 also, way on the outside. I never like post positions too far outside. In the sprint races, it's okay, but on the route races, not a big fan. Florat Giroux gets this one for Bob Atras. Way to be Marie. Been running in a lot of graded stakes races, grade 3s, Aqueduct, Churchill Downs. Last time at Fairgrounds, that was off the turf on the dirt. Really ran pretty good. But I think this horse can get back into shape and maybe get conditioned to see what it can do back on turf for its first time out for 2025. So we'll see if it pans out or not for the 10. I also like like I said, the 2 is the speed. It's hard to get away from speed to hit the board. So I'm going to have the 2 regardless on the ticket. Ghostly Gal, but I actually think the horse on the outside, all the way on the outside, 14, is the one I like better in the exotics. You got to like Irad's chances, 144 and 3, twice so far this year, once in October at Keeneland, once across this track at the turf at Fairgrounds in December, winning that $100,000 non-graded stakes race. Speed figures are consistent 89 to 90 and 91 probably is where you're looking at for speed figures in that horse. So kind of a all-around race. Nobody I really like immensely more than the others, but I'm trying to go off speed. I'm going to take the 8 on top. I think the 6, the 10, and the 14 have their best opportunities for the exotics. I'll probably throw the 2 in there somewhere on the board for third.
Okay. I landed on the 5. I think we're a little close, but kind of far apart here. The 5.
I give you 5 more. Did you take a one that I don't have?
Probably.
I like it.
Actually, I think we have similar horses. Just I didn't have the 8. I guess is kind of where I'm landing. But I had the 5. Nanda D. Looking at this horse, obviously in Argentina, if you look at the form, it was a monster horse racing out there. Winning at an unbelievable clip. Only lost 2 races, and then when you say lost, it came in second by a half length, and then they didn't have their best showing. When they raced at a mile and a quarter, so they stretched out, didn't get it done. But then comes over to the States, runs a mile and a 16th with Jose, who's the hottest jockey at the Fairgrounds right now. So the same distance we're going today, and kind of won the race easy. Ran an 89 speed figure first time in the States at Keeneland at the distance with Jose aboard, and won by 2 1/4. So I like what I see there. First time out asking. Like I said, this horse is a monster in Argentina, and I don't think from what I saw in that first race, I'm going to see much of a change there. I think this horse is really a legit contender here in this race. And you're getting the Lasix back. Obviously, I think that the Lasix ended up helping in that race, seeing that they did stretch out in the race prior. They didn't stretch out, and they didn't have the Lasix. So you get the Lasix now, you go the distance, and it actually makes a little bit of a difference for them, and they end up winning the race. So I like the 5. I'm going to ride with Jose here on that one. I like the 6 underneath, like you said, from speed. There's not a lot to compete out there with. 2 horses, either one could go. If the 6 doesn't get pressed, it's going to be very difficult to beat. It seems like when they do get pressed and they have a little bit of competition, they end up just falling a little bit short. So distance is not going to be an issue for this horse, though, either. They've gone the distance. They can hold on if they need to. You get Size, who's going to be very aggressive like he always is. Workouts are really good coming into the race, very consistent speed figures. There's a couple bad races in there, though. If you look, I mean, 77, 75, 78 speed figures, and those were, I mean, honestly, they're worst races that they've had. So when they get out and they go, they run higher speed figures and they end up getting the job done, or they're very, very close. So the 6 makes a lot of sense. And then all the way to the outside, like you said, stir crazy on the 14. Um, I don't think you can
Mhm.
leave it off, even though it's got the worst post position in the race. It's gone against quite the competition. It's gone against a sloppy track, an off track. It's gone on the turf. It's done whatever they really needed this horse to do every single time. She's really run very well and posting high speed figures, high 89 speed figures every time. Irad's ridden the horse before. He knows what he's getting himself into. Oh no, sorry, Jose actually rode this horse before. So first time for Irad aboard, but it is Mike Maker. Obviously, they team up quite a bit, especially for the big stakes days. So I know that he gets a lot of opportunities on the big days for him. So like I said, I think it's going to be difficult from the 14, but it's not the best spot to be in. But I think they're going to make it interesting and be able to gobble up a lot of ground if they need to, like they have before. So that's where I'm landing.
Yeah.
5 with the 6 and the 14. I
The
did
only thing
not
that
have
scares
the
me on the
2
14,
either.
obviously, is the position.
Yeah.
What's that?
I didn't have the 2 either on my card either. Just for I
Yeah,
picked
the
one speed
14 on
horse.
the
It was just a little difficult,
yeah,
you know.
the 14 on the outside, like I said, he hasn't really been on the outside before. It's just a lot of ground to gobble up. And the horse doesn't really break well, but makes up a lot of ground. And the only thing I liked about the 2, to be honest with you, is that it's going back to turf. Jareth Ludbury, Wayne Catalano. If you look at the last 2 races, dirt race, synthetic, you go back 6 races was dirt at Churchill. The 3 in between there in the sandwich between those races were all turf races, and it won all 3 of them. Granted, they're claiming 25,000, optional claiming 40, but this horse will probably be 4th place. Might press the 6. It's the only other one I could see that possibly could press the 6 and maybe be there late. But again, yeah, why they run this horse on dirt ever, I have no idea. It's not it's chosen. I guess maybe they have to, but it's not his chosen surface. But you got 5, 6, 14, and I'm at 8 with the 6, 10, 14. So kind of a little bit of a spread race for both of us in
Yeah.
that race. We'll see
Yeah.
see how things kind of pan out. And see, you got to watch for scratches too. We're doing this early enough now. We're not going to be able to watch scratches. So let's get to the 11th race. The 11th race, a mile and the 16th, grade 3 mine shaft. It's a purse of $250,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards. I'm going to go with the 5 in this race. Tough race first off, but I'm going to go with Catching Freedom. Makes the most sense. Big drop in class here. It's kind of one of these horses that makes the most sense. First time on Lasix, been running in strictly grade 1s and grade 3s, Preakness, Kentucky Derby, Louisiana Derby, Ohio Derby. You're getting Pratt back on, which I think is a plus. Just really don't know what to make out of the horse since coming in, 4th in the Ohio Derby last time out. But it's had plenty of time off. The workouts are decent. It's going to be a closer. If it can run into that 144 and 3 time like I'm hoping, should be able to win. There's a few here that have a little faster times, but I'm going with what makes sense in the class drop. Really was the big drop with Pratt. I like the 4 Hall of Fame with Jose Ortiz. Just been super since the layoff. Just been absolutely fantastic. Lights out, 2 wins, allowance 127,000. Optional claim 50 and non-winners condition for 2. That last one at a mile and the 16th, that was at 143 and 4. Really just had its way at the top. Could be the same thing. This is one that possibly could go all the way and go wire to wire. Like the 1 also, Warrior Johnny. Back in form, really nice workout coming in, 47 and 4. That was at the Fairgrounds on February 8th. And just the form alone recently, the speed figures of 193 last 2 times. Maybe got a little victim of the speed figure 2 back when it ran a 93 last time, coming in 3rd, but should run well. Blinkers are back on for the 1 as well. And I like the 8 on the outside. Comorbino Amoid, I guess that's how you say it, but out of California Chrome. Horse has been really consistent. Last time out, lost a hit show on an off track at the Louisiana. I'll take a horse that comes second to hit show that had the lead coming down the stretch at the Fairgrounds. Likes the surface over there, 2 times over the track, 1 second. I think it could be in the money as well. So taking a little bit of a chance there. But I'm going to go 5 just because of the class drop, 4, 1, and 8.
I think 5 is the best horse in the card in terms of where it's racing. Like it would probably be my best bet here if I'm taking a swing at it.
Your lock?
Yeah, I think that, from looking at the entire card or what we handicapped for the late pick 5 and the 5 race that we looked at, this one made the most sense to me. It also jumped out to me the most as well because no other horse in this race has done what this horse has done. Yeah, they lost in the Kentucky Derby. They lost in the Preakness. But look at who they lost to. They lost to Seize the Gray, Mystic Dan. Then you lost to Mystic Dan, Sierra Leone, Forever Young, and came in fourth in the Derby. And no other horses in here are coming even close to that. So, I think when you look at the whole slew of races that they have, they haven't really gotten a job done. And they came out way short in the Ohio Derby. They came in fourth by 3 lengths. They also are racing at the highest peak in a consistent clip. So the horse probably needed that layoff, right? So from June to now is the time that they needed to get right and get back to form and just take some time off because they race so much and so heavy, So I think it's very interesting. I think, like I said, I don't want to say like a lock, but it is the for sure thing, at least in my eyes, in this race. I think that, you get the Lasix, you get, some really good stats coming from Brad Cox, first time with Lasix. This horse has never ridden with Lasix before, so I can only imagine it's going to help getting a little bit more air in the lungs for this horse. So like I said, I'm very high on the 5. I think it's the best bet in the entire card in terms of where they're racing and what spot they picked. And I have the 1 as well. I think everything you said there on the 1 is also very true. The Warrior Johnny has very much looked the part, has ridden in some big spots. Has not gotten the job done in the grade 2s or the grade 1s, but when they get into the ungraded stakes races, they definitely make their presence known. And the last time out, they lost by 5 lengths, but again, the loss of Saudi Crown, again, what are you going to say against a loss like that? In the race before that, they posted a high speed figure of 100 and won, with ease after breaking kind of poorly. So a very strong horse, a horse that's definitely capable, has posted a 111 speed figure in their career, which is definitely the best in this field by far. So if they come anywhere close to that, they're going to be a very difficult foe for the 5 here in this race. But I like the 1 a lot as well. And then the last horse that I have in there is the 6, Maycox Bay. This is Ben Curtis and Michael Stidham. Excuse me. If you look at this horse, they ran their grade 3. They took the big jump up. They came in 4th, lost by 3 and almost 4 lengths. But I think it was just, getting your feet wet. Obviously, it was on a sloppy track, not ideal in any way, shape, or form. But I don't think that the surface is going to be an issue for them. I don't think that the jump up here or I guess staying in a grade 3 field is going to be much of an issue for them. I think they're going to try to go a little bit quicker and try to go for the lead a little bit more than what they did in the last race or the last 2 races. I think they're just going to try to push the pace a little bit more. So I'm thinking that they're going to be on the front end here in this race, and I think they're going to try to maybe steal the race a little bit. But there is some competition up at the front that will burn them out, but I do like them holding on and grasping for life for 2nd or 3rd at what I think is going to be a decent price. So I've got the 5 with the 1-6 in this one.
Yeah, five's interesting. It's a very steady. You know what you get out of this horse is pretty steady effort every time, even effort. And beating Catching Freedom last time out, although it has been a while, it's probably something it can hang its hat on. Maybe it can do it again, possibly if it goes, maybe even wire the field. So good opportunity for the 6 as well. So I got 5, 4, 1, 8. You have the 5, 1, and 6. Kind of locked in. Both see the 5 being the 1 to beat, I think, obviously.
Yeah, like I said, I think the 5 is just, it's like, again, the same analogy, you've been playing with the starters in the major leagues and you drop down, to the minor leagues, you're going to be a star, so
sure,
I think that's what's going on here. Yeah, this is just a freshening up for whatever's to come next, I think.
Yeah, one that normally I would say wait for 1 off the shelf, but ready to go, I think, with the 5 in this race. Yeah. Let's head over to the 12th race. 12th race, a mile and 1/8. This one's on the turf. Grade 3 Fairgrounds Stakes, purse of $175,000 for 4-year-olds and upwards. This could be a tough race, depending on how you want to judge it, where you see the speed at. I'm going to go with the 4. I'd rather be blessed. Another Ben Curtis for Chris Hartman. Love Chris Hartman horses. Not having the best meet right now at the Fairgrounds. A lot of opportunities. Only has 1 win on 42 opportunities. Ben Curtis has this horse twice now, ridden back-to-back races. Last time was on the dirt. Just missed 2nd to Gigante, and then before that, also losing to Gigante, also that one on the turf at a mile and the 16th. But 4 back on November 1st at 140 and 1. Hopefully the horse can get back to that kind of form. Did run a nice couple workouts here going into the last race that he ran. And then since then, just a 50 is the only thing that's posted out there. Actually, it's a 50-1. So more of an even keel, but is a front running horse. And I actually like speed in this race. I like someone to be on the front, maybe can settle down the pace, save a little ground, a little time, still have something left for the end. So I'm going to take a chance here with the 4. It's going to be tough to beat for me on the 8 would be my second choice. Taking Candy for Irad Ortiz. If you're looking at this overall for the year, last year, lightly raced 3 races. He hasn't ran since November 17th and is moving up in class. But the times on this horse too, 140-1, that was at Saratoga with a 92 speed figure. Horse is consistently 92, 89, 92. It's the last 3 times out in 2024. Back on the Lasix again, which I think is a plus. Not that it did bad off the Lasix in the non-graded stakes race at Saratoga, but just a horse that seems to be well in capabilities of winning this race. It's also with Irad and Sherry DeVoe. Love Sherry DeVoe. Horses 26% win for Sherry DeVoe so far at the Fairgrounds. She's having a fantastic meet on 50 opportunities. So 8's going to be really tough to beat. Taking the 4 is kind of a stretch, but it's more of a position and speed race that I think why I lean that way. I also like the 1, What Say Thee. This is one that it's very tactical. It can go out either way to the front. It can press or it can sit back. Just don't know how it's going to run. That's why I got it on the underneath position. And I also like the 3. Unit Economics. Flavian Pratt gets the mount here from Tyler Gaffleone for Chad Brown. This one also at 140 and 1/5. Last time out at Gulfstream Park with the 85 speed figure. That was an optional claiming 62,000 condition. Now winners of 2. But I just like the distance. I think it's more of a distance special at a mile and 16th. It has won after breaking its maiden 110,000 allowance. Now winners of 2 other than maiden. Just missing coming in second. It's been the odds-on favorite the last 6 races it's been out of its 7 career starts. Seems to make a lot of sense here. Definitely going to be in the mix. Can also be there at that 141. So in no specific order, I am giving the 4 the edge just from the speed factor, but 4, 8, 3, 1, kind of a box for me.
Yeah, it's weird we landed up on the same horse here. I have the 4 as well on top. I was looking at the race and I was trying to figure out who else is going to go in this race, and I couldn't find anybody that's consistently gone out to the front to push the fractions like they had to last time. So I think the 4 is going to have to go a little bit faster, and I think they're going to have to get out there clean. But if Ben Curtis can nurse his speed, seeing that nobody else is really going to press him is kind of the way I handicapped this race. I think they really do have a great opportunity, and I love a Chris Hartman horse on the front end, so I really do like what I'm seeing out of the horse. Last 2 races, yeah, they didn't win, but they just missed. When they didn't get out to the front, they were still competitive. When they got out to the front, it looks like they just ran out a little bit of gas at the end on a sloppy track. So on a good track, on a fast track, getting an easy lead and then going to town and hopefully they save a little bit of ground. I think there's going to be some talent coming behind them, but I really do like what I'm seeing, and that's just kind of the way I handicapped it. So I have the 4 on top with you. I'll ride there. I have the 1 as well. So What Say Thee. I think this horse is going to be coming from way back, kind of like they normally do. I don't think that they're going to have, they just typically don't break the best. They break kind of far back every single time, but it's never really an issue. They're able to eat up a lot of ground late. And last time out, they were 5.5 lengths off and ended up winning. If you go all the way back, like I said, that Lone Star, but that's all the way back in June of last year. I mean, they were 10 lengths off and they ended up winning by a head, right? So, I mean, this horse has a great turn of foot, can make up a lot of ground late when they need to. You're getting pretty much every jockey that you could possibly have on this one, but Size gets him out again, and he's ridden this horse the most, and he's ridden him to success quite a bit. So I like what I'm seeing there. Like I said, they're going to be coming from the clouds. They're going to have to break, I think a little bit better, but typically they probably won't. But posting very good speed figures going through the race, and I don't think that this is going to be an issue for them. So I think they're going to be coming late, and if they're going up against fast speed, I think they'll be able to gobble it up. But if they're going up against lone speed that's not pressed, might not have enough to pass down the stretch. And I have the 2, Gigante, Jose Ortiz, and Steve Asmussen, back-to-back wins here once Jose got aboard at the Fairgrounds, once on a sloppy track and once on a firm track, a firm turf track. Again, this horse is very patient, lets the race come to them. They posted their 2 fast speed figures. They have in a little bit, 91 and 96, but again, the very similar style. I mean, very similar. And if you look at the form, just sitting off, waiting. And then as soon as they hit the stretch, they take off and then they don't look back. So I think they're going to do the same thing. they're going to sit there, they're going to nurse the speed, they're going to watch it up front, and then they're going to come over and try to take control down the stretch. So I like what I'm seeing there. It's good. It's a good combo, and it's been working as of late. So I'm going with 4 with the 1 and the 2 in this leg.
I'm not mad at that too. I'm trying to beat the 2, has the best length and the horse is always up close. I think the 8 and the 2 will be right on the heels of the 4. Could very well pass them if the 4 is pressed. It's going to be a hard time to try to get that wire to wire lead that I'm kind of projecting. But the 2 makes a lot of sense. I'm going up against it, trying to get hopefully hoping that it's not going to run the race like it did last time. Gigante's been I'd rather be blessed biggest nemesis here, obviously in the last 2 times beating it out. So we'll see. You got 4-1-2. I got 4-8-3-1. But again, the 2 makes a lot of sense. I would not be mad ripping up a ticket there if I had to, trying to beat the 2. I don't even know what the odds are, but I would assume the 2 is going to be somewhere chalky in this race. I would assume. We can move on to the 13th race, 4th leg of this pick 5. Mile the 16th, grade 2, Rachel Alexandra, purse of $300,000 for filly, 3 years old. Obviously, these are short sample sizes for what you're looking at, but I'm going to take the 2 Good Cheer, Louis Saez for Brad Cox. Very, very consistent horse ever since it broke its maiden. 4 straight wins in a row. 73 on debut, 93, 92, and a 90 speed figure. The last one, the Goldenrod, that grade 2, just very well in hand race. Beating lesser, I'd say there's a few horses that it ran up against that were decent. But again, we're talking 3 years old. This was in his 2-year-old campaign. So there's a lot to expect. It was odds-on favorite every time. Probably going to be the odds-on favorite going in on Saturday, but looks much the best to me, and I'm going to take the 2 on top. Underneath, I do like the 3 Ballerina d'Oro. This one finally getting off the turf and going to the dirt. Had a nice second in the Demoiselle at Aqueduct, just coming in second there. First time with blinkers. So I do like that one underneath coming off the pace. I also like the 6 on the outside. Simply Joking for Jaime Torres. 91 speed figure on debut, followed it up with a 96. The fractions are ridiculous on both races, 22, 2, 45, and 4. Sitting just off a length off, and then 23 and 3 and 47 and 2 with the lead. So going to be near the front, should very well set the pace for what we're looking here. Coming into this race with a nice 101 and 3-5 furlong workout on February 8th. That was at the Fairgrounds, 4-5 furlongs. And then cleaning it up here, I got the 7, Bless the Broken, Axel Concepcion for William Walden. Again, a nice workout coming in, 101 and 3 at the Fairgrounds. If you look, both of them worked out on the same day of February 8th. They both had the same workout time, and they both finished 24 best of 40. But I just like it, looking at the body of work from both the 6 and the 7. It's kind of a workout I want to see. 7 also having its career best speed figure, 93. May come back to hurt it. That was in the slop, though, at Fairgrounds. Looking to see, hopefully, better conditions for Saturday. So we'll see how that finishes up as well. But Bless the Broken has always been something of a consistent horse of what you're going to get. Either it breaks and does well, or it breaks and doesn't do anything the whole entire race. Hoping it's going to hit the board here for 3rd underneath. So sticking with the 2 on top, seems that would be my lock if I had to pick one for the card. I like the 2 much the best. 3, 6, and 7 underneath.
Yeah, I've got the 2 as well. An undefeated horse has won in dominant fashion every single race. Has answered the call every time they took a step up. Really not much more you really need to say about the horse that you can't see for yourself in the form. It's Saez, it's Brad Cox. Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive horse. She's really coming to her own, and she's definitely doing what they need her to do. So I'm going to ride with the 2 as well in this race. I was going to go really cheeky, and I was going to go 2 horses, but if they're in case there's a scratch, I guess I'll throw 2 underneath. I have the 1. I think the 1 is going to be competitive. I know they're stepping up, and they just broke their maiden, came back and won a 100,000 stakes race at the Fairgrounds. But you're taking a bigger step up here. I think it's going to be a lot to ask, but you're getting IRAD on a horse that's improving with a combination you don't see very often. And when you see this combination, it makes you think that there might be something there. It's an interesting mount for IRAD. The rail has got some good figures. In terms of what's winning and what's not. So I like the 1. I think it's going to be a very decent price too. So maybe something just to juice up the exacta. But I originally was going to go just 2-6 straight. Again, a horse that's just, 2 for 2. They started off and they broke their maiden in an ungraded stakes race, and then, followed it back up with a $150,000 stakes race. Each time answered the call, won the race. Jamie Torres, significant job, on both mounts here. He's really letting the race come to the horse, and if they want the speed, they'll take it. If they don't break the best and they have to sit back, they'll do that too. So a very tactical horse in every which way he could possibly win. And the distance is not going to be an issue. There's some progression on both, and looks to be very, very solid as well. So posting at 91 and a 96 speed figure in your first two races definitely tells me there's something there. So, like I said, I was going to go 2-6, but just in case of scratches, I'll go 2 with the 1-6 here in this leg.
Yeah, Kenny McPeak with two horses in this one. I ran on one. Obviously, Brian Hernandez on the other one. Both of them could definitely hit the board. It's a very even keel race here. Really, just I think we're both locked in on what we see as the best horse that should be well in hand, finishing up a race very strong. I would say that the 6 probably is the best second choice, although that's probably out for argument with such a small sample size from these 2-year-old races that you're looking here on the form. 2, 3, 6, 7, 2, 1, 6. Yeah, very, very chalky. And probably want to be playing the double or something, try to get a price here maybe in the last race. On that note, let's go ahead and wrap it up to pick 5. Let's go the last race, race 14, mile and an eighth. The grade 2 Risen Star, purse of $500,000 for 3-year-olds and some points on the board for the Kentucky Derby. Really difficult race because I've got 2 in here that I like that I have kind of got some stock into. The first one being the 4 East Avenue, which makes a lot of sense. And I was really, really disappointed in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but then again, it was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Beaten favorite by 13 lengths, and it really goes to the start of that race. Just never got out the gate, never had an opportunity, was just done for Plus, it came out of the 1 hole in that position and just never – if you scratch out a race, I know it's only 3 races there, but if you're going to scratch that race, you have all the right to. Pinned at the rail, didn't get the break, and never had an opportunity. So if you can maybe get back and look at the Breeders' Futurity or the maiden race that I won at 71,000 at first asking at Ellis Park, I think this is what you're really more focused on. The workouts have been fantastic. 101s, 101 minute and 2/5 coming in at 5 furlongs on February 8th. Again, just never in it in the last race. Looking to make up for it. It's Godolphin and Brandon Walsh who's having a fantastic season overall. Maybe not the best at Fairgrounds as other tracks, but definitely I like when these two team up. They do a lot of work together, Tyler and Brandon. So we're going to put the 4 on top on a slight edge. I think the other horse that you got to put in there is the 9. This one's interesting because I really liked Built the last time we did the handicap at the Fairgrounds. This horse was running. This was my top pick. It actually came in second with kind of a bad start overall. It was in sloppy conditions, so it's the first time the horse was going over, an off track. Coming in very strong with Jareth Loveberry getting the mounts back to back, and now we're going to Luis Saez. Not that Jareth has done anything wrong with this horse, but Luis Saez already here at Fairgrounds, and they're just going to go ahead and run him. So not mad at the jockey switch for Wayne Catalano. I just think that 12 post position last time out was too much to try to gobble up and make up for, especially in those sloppy conditions. You're going to get fast conditions hopefully on Saturday. This one's a definite contender. 47-4 for 4 furlongs on February 2nd. That's that coming in workout. Really, really strong. Those are my top 2. It's a coin flip between the 2. I'm giving the edge to the 4 at East Avenue. I also want to put Jonathan's Way in there, who's no slouch either, coming in second in the Kentucky Jockey Club, which is a grade 2 at a mile and the 16th at Churchill Downs. That was back on November 30th. Again, since then, we got a nice workout in 1 minute and 1/5. That was on February 1st. There's no doubt in my mind Philip Bauer's got this horse ready to go and should be in the mix as well. And last but not least, looking to get some points, at least by hitting the board maybe, would be the 10, and that's Render Judgment. This is for Brian Hernandez and Kenny McPeak. This is one I like the Kentucky Jockey Club Gold race for the mile and the 16th. That same race that Jonathan's Way came in second. Wasn't its best race, but fought through a little bit of traffic to hit the board. And this is one that just makes sense to hitting the board. Third in the gun runner also, which was the mile and the 16th at the Fairgrounds, coming in with a 1 minute and 4/5 workout for 5 furlongs on February 8th. Just seems to make a little distance too. That horse is out of blame. So not my top pick, but definitely hitting the board is what I'm looking for on that. 4-9, 4 going to be my top pick. 2, Jonathan's Way, definitely in the mix. And then 10, maybe cleaning up and getting a price here, because that 4 is probably going to be your chalky chalk of the week.
Yeah, I'm on the 4 as well. I think everything you said there at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, I mean, yeah, you couldn't ask for a worse start to a race. Stumbled, broke bad, got pinched at the rail. They were never in it. Tyler knew they were never in it. They just kind of ran the race they needed to get it done. But if you take that race aside, and let's say you didn't run the Breeders' Cup, juvenile race. But you look at the last 2 races, you're saying, yeah, this horse is going to win by a landslide.
Yeah.
So I think this horse is the best horse in this field. I think if they break like they have and are very capable of doing, yeah, they're gonna have a really good time at the front end. Um, very consistent speed figures too, and also times when they run. When they get out to the front, they run that 23. You think, oh, they might burn out, but they come back with a 46 and can still hold on and win by 5 1/4. It's a very impressive horse. It can go as fast as they need to. I think it's got a lot of promise in the 4. So I have the 4 on top. I'm with you there. I have the 5 at a price. I was looking at a horse that, you're getting Abel Cedillo back on the mound here. Luan Machado had the race prior. Didn't get the job done, but they also ate up a ton of ground. They broke horribly. They broke in eighth, 8 lengths back, and ended up finishing second by 2.5. So obviously you ate up a lot of ground. If they break better like they did in their first time out in their first maiden race, yeah, I think this horse probably wins that race as well. I think you're gonna get a really good price there as well. And Ethan West has got some pretty good statistics coming into the stakes race, a graded stakes race. So I like what I'm seeing out of the 5. Excuse me. And then I also have the 7 in this race. That's Septarian. They're putting the blinkers on. This horse last time out finished third with Tyler aboard, so obviously another tip of the cap to the 4 here in this leg. But they ran an okay race. I'd have to watch the race and kind of go into a little bit more depth. But I think, the reason they're adding the blinkers on is they just ended up being one paced and they didn't really get, the focus that they needed like they had in the first couple of races when it was kind of on the front end and only competing with one horse. So, good speed figures, 93 speed figure in their second race in its career at Laurel. Again, sitting off just on the shoulder and then ended up passing and winning by a length and almost 2 lengths in that race. So I think if you run a similar race, you're getting Flavian Pratt for Chad Brown here. If you run a similar race where you're just sitting there nursing the speed and then you're just picking your spot, I think they've got a good opportunity. I don't think that they're going to beat. I don't know if anybody's going to beat the 4, but if they're underneath, I'll take my chances with Flavian Pratt, who's going to make the most of his opportunity after flying in, for the weekend. So I like the 7 a lot there. I thought it was interesting too. Obviously, there's no. I don't know if you heard anything on the 3 Vasimo with the drug
Positive drug test.
The drug test. Yeah, I think that's interesting and also a very big blemish to what could be, I think dampening on Todd Pletcher's legacy when you got a positive like that. I think it's not a good look at this point, but I would assume that this horse is going to be scratched.
I think that's exactly what I was going to bring it up here at the end, or I should have brought it up in the beginning here. Yeah, the positive drug test. I think it was 2 positive drug tests that it had. It wasn't just one. Either way, again, a blemish here for Todd Pletcher. Hopefully, I'm assuming Todd stand-up guy will take responsibility for it. Not going to fight anything about it. Tests come back the way they are. But a big scratch from this race that someone that should be near the front setting, speeding up the speed figures and the pace in this race with Irate Ortiz, but not going to happen, I believe, on Saturday due to those findings. I want to get back to the horse that you did take as your second choice, that Chunk of Gold. I like the horse as well. I have it actually written here as my 3rd choice or possibly 3rd hitting the board in the exotics. The horse doesn't really do anything wrong. It's just first time on synthetic, off of synthetics, been running on synthetic, obviously, at Turfway Park. But the horse actually runs a really good figure here for 5 furlongs in 1 minute and 3/5 on the dirt. So that's a nice, really workout coming in. And, as far as the 7 is concerned, the only reason I even off the board, which is what I also liked originally, was simply the fact that it's been running just sprints and didn't really like the route first time at the go. But all good opportunities, I think, for a lot of horses. There could be some decent prices underneath. There's a few of these other horses, too, that are coming off turf races, races that I think were a little too steep for what it was going for originally. Just very interesting underneath. It's got to be an all play in the 3rd position regardless. I think if you're going to play any kind of tries, I think single on the 4 on top with a couple choices underneath and the all button could get you paid. You could get some nice prices underneath here, in the trifecta. But we're both on the 4, so that usually doesn't. Maybe that bodes well. We've got a couple here. I think we're docking about 3 races here together on top picks.
3, I'm pretty sure.
It's always interesting. how that pans out when we're locked in. Fairgrounds was pretty good to us last time, though, so maybe it'll be good to us this time. It could be a chalky pick 5 too, so you're really gonna have to try to find some prices,
Definitely.
Outside of those positions where you don't feel as strong. You've got a lock, I've got a lock, and then we both like in the Risen Star, East Avenue. Interesting. Yeah. That's your pick 5. Other sports, nothing going on in the sports world other than horse racing. Football's over.
I think NBA All-Star break is this weekend. Is that right?
Another waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even know. I don't think I've actually watched the All-Star weekend, and I watch like the 3-point contest usually. The dunk contest has gotten pretty bad, but I'll probably dabble on Saturday.
I think when you were probably like 12, maybe 13 years old, last time we watched the All-Star game or the Stars Challenge or whatever they got going on.
I like the Rising Stars, or like the
that's okay. The rookie
Rising
game,
Stars or whatever. Well, not the rookie game. The agility one that they do. They do like the one where they do the obstacle course. They have to weave through, make a bucket, come down, shoot a 3, all that.
Bounce pass.
Yeah, bounce pass through the bucket. Yeah, I like that one. So I like that. Like I said, the 3-point contest is always fun to watch. And then I used to like watching the dunk contest before it became, trash. I guess you could say. It's like let me change my shirt and then do a basic dunk and get a 10. And then, a guy will do like a no look, like, windmill dunk or something like that. And they'll get like a 7. I'll be like, all right, like obviously it doesn't matter,
Yeah. But, it's really changed the whole perspective. I mean, it's not like it used to be. And I don't like the fact that these guys do the over the person standing there because they push off on their shoulders and get more.
Yeah.
What do you? What, you're not impressing me unless you clear them from the jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you jump man over them,
that's cool. I actually liked watching what's his name, Mac McClung.
McClung.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I mean, he's like 5'10", 5'11", and he's dunking, and he won that. They signed, I think it was the Sixers. Was it the Sixers? They signed him to a 1-day so that he could compete in the dunk contest, which I thought was cool. And he won. That was pretty cool. Just because he's so short, and he also threw down some pretty crazy dunks. So that was pretty cool. But in terms of the actual All-Star game, it's horrible to watch. Just like the Pro Bowl, it's horrible to watch. Really, there's no All-Star game. Baseball is okay. Baseball is the only one, but I don't really dabble too much.
Yeah, it's really got to focus on some NCAA basketball right now before March Madness hits. We're creeping up to, the end of February, first week of March. We'll start all the conference games. So I really got to start focusing on it. Been off my game this year with teams that I usually follow not having good seasons. So I've been less excited about watching the games. But I am going to watch the Syracuse North Carolina game. So that it's my team versus the wife's team. So
yeah, I'm just saying, but like, don't put yourself through the pain of misery. They're just going to lose. So
no, it's going to be a shit game either way. But still, it's bragging rights in the house, and it's on her birthday. So happy birthday to the wife. Appreciate all the support that she gives to the podcast.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. So I'll be watching a little bit of racing, spending more of the time with her on her birthday, and then watching probably Syracuse get their ass kicked by North Carolina. But that's the plan for the weekend. Other than that, got nothing else going on here. I know in the next couple of weeks there's going to be hit and miss of you actually making any of these podcasts, probably over the course of March. So when your bundle of joy comes, we'll be filling in with some alternates throughout the month while you're doing dad duties. But also looking forward to that. So, and we may miss a podcast if by chance she decides to show on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
so
we'll see
what happens. All right, listen. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Be sure to check us out on the YouTube channel at the Who Do You Like Here. If not, you can always catch us on any of your favorite podcasts. You can listen to us on weekly. Other than that, good luck to everybody on Friday. For me and the kid.